All right. Oh, okay. I think we're live.
I think so. I see people at least. It's a good sign.
Oh, it says live now.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
Woo. It took a little longer than anticipated, but I think it works.
Technology is hard.
Yep.
I mean, writers are always late anyway, right?
Well, yeah, it's just part of the course, right?
I thought it was just me.
Alrighty.
Well, yeah, it's just part of the course, right?
I thought it was just me.
Wait, I'm a little lost now. Where did my thing go?
I'm gonna send a tweet out saying that we're live.
Yeah.
Part of the course, right?
I thought it was just
That might
Yeah.
I thought it was
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to see comments in the Hangout. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, there's chat.
Where'd it go?
Oh, that's not the.
Oh yeah. On the, well, at least for me, it's on my left side. Top corner, there's a button that says chat.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
not the
That's our
YouTube chat though. So
Oh, no, then I don't know.
I think you have to open another window and just have the YouTube video, like,
yeah, I'll
muted
put
and
it
then-
on. Yeah.
I'm gonna have it on my phone so it's not taking too much screen space.
Okay. All right.
Dang it.
Okay.
I'm trying to send out some social media posts to let people know we're live.
So, who all has started writing? I have not.
I literally just woke up. I woke up like 2 hours ago. So
No.
I'm about in the same boat. I have a little bit from a few days ago, but not in April. I cheated.
I still have no idea what I want to do this year.
Oh,
Oh, you're really just freewheeling it.
Jumping in there.
Hey, I'm back again.
All right.
Hey, welcome back.
Because I mean, I technically have 2 books in progress right now. So I'm just trying to, I don't know.
Are you going to write on both of them or pick one?
I'm probably going to pick one because one of them is almost done. I'm getting ready to publish at the end of next month.
Oh, wow, that's good luck. I hope everything goes well.
It's all self-published, so it's a whole new territory for me.
Oh, yeah.
I love your hair. I don't know who that was. The names are flashing by really fast. All I know is it's blue hair. Sorry.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's so weird. We've been chatting and then we see each other's faces and don't know who we are.
Meeting for the first time.
Mhm.
But I think I should be okay because I think I'm trying to choose between like new adult fiction and YA fiction, and that's where I'm kind of stuck right now.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have the buzzing phone on the computer.
I think she's trying to join the chat. Oh.
Ooh, there's too much stuff going on. My fingers can't move fast enough.
That's true. Yeah, a bunch of writers trying to manage technology maybe wasn't the best choice, but
We're figuring it out little by little.
Yeah. It seemed like our only option though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna apologize in advance if I swear. I'm gonna try and watch my mouth, but I make no promises.
I make that promise as well. I give no promises. I won't swear.
let's start a swear jar and whoever swears the least gets the money.
Every time you swear, you have to write a page more.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. Okay, do you guys want to just jump into a word sprint?
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay, so 10 minutes?
10 minutes sounds good.
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone else trying to get in, a chance to get in, and
Yeah, maybe. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else here with us, but if you are, then you can write along with us. Isn't there usually a counter that says how many people are watching? Did I dream that?
I feel like that is
There
a thing.
is.
There's 10 watching right now, from what
Yeah.
I can see on my
All right. Well, for you 10 wonderful writers,
welcome to the
wonderful
stream.
patient people. All right.
Should we start with a word or a sprint prompt?
Sure. Does anybody have one offhand?
Write about somewhere you want to go on a bucket list or something. How about that?
Okay.
Something on your bucket list. That's a more coherent thing to say.
All right. So I'll set an alarm. And go.
else joined. Welcome.
Hey.
Bye.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for whoever told me to click the link in the Facebook chat. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
This video is echoing.
Okay. Thank you for whoever told me to click the link in the Facebook chat. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, we can
okay.
hear you.
This video is echoing. I don't know if y'all can hear me now. Let me mute myself.
Oh. I can hear you. I don't know if there's any more feedback coming through though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's still feedback.
I don't know if y'all can hear me now. Let me mute myself.
I can hear you. I don't know if there's any more feedback coming through.
Oh, okay.
There's still feedback.
I don't know if y'all can hear me now. Let me mute myself.
This is like a
I
good
can hear you. I don't know if there's any more feedback.
Oh, I just messed everything up.
Oh.
Growing pains.
What is that noise? I feel like everything was fine until I joined.
Sounds like music or something.
Okay, so how do I get out? Yeah.
That's the timer.
Right.
Sure.
Ouch.
All right.
How'd everybody do?
I did okay, I think.
I wrote
I did
I did
nonsense.
162.
I think I got
got
around 200.
274.
Scrivener says 237.
Yeah, I just realized I type a lot
About
slower.
200 words on page by hand, for anyone who's curious.
Oh.
I only know because I've
Wow.
written a whole novel in November by hand, and I know the averages by looking at them.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. I
It's
write so
tough.
much slower.
I've been practicing for a little bit, so I've gotten a little handy at it.
Boomch. So if anybody else is writing along with us, then you should post your word counts.
Yeah, I would love to hear how everyone's doing.
Yeah, I type a lot slower on my iPad because the keyboard's like all weird and kind of smushed together.
Yeah.
So I only got 75, but if I was typing on my computer, I'd be a lot faster.
How else is everyone writing? Laptops, computers, iPads? Handwriting for the crazy people?
Got a laptop for me.
I'm only handwriting some of it, not all of it. Because I have to do a lot of my writing at work, so gotta have a portable pencil.
The advantages of paper.
So what is everybody working on this month? Are you starting new projects or?
I'm starting a new project, a novel that some of my coworkers asked me to write, oddly enough. And I couldn't say no, so I am writing that this month.
Yeah, I also decided as of like right now, it's a new project on top of working on the book that I'm getting ready to publish, but
What genres are you guys?
Mine is suspense romance, I think. It's a retelling of the Tristan and Isolde fable from Celtic legend, sort of, so it's interesting.
Interesting.
I usually write fantasy, and I'm working on 2 books right now. The sequel to the first book I wrote, and then I got this new random idea. It's like a literary fiction. So I'm going to be doing both of those at the same time, hopefully. Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds tough.
Yeah, I'm doing all contemporary. It's basically a book that I've been trying to write for years, and I'm like, I need to get done this summer. So
Okay. Mine's suspense. It's set in the Smoky Mountains. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where's everyone else's set? I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada. It's like right over there.
I'm probably thinking the same setting for my last or my other current work is somewhere in Washington, so like near Tacoma. And obviously I'm in California, so I don't know how big Washington actually is.
Google Maps is good for that.
Yeah.
Street View especially.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of research on like how far, Forks is from Tacoma, from, Portland.
Oh yeah.
That's
fun. Has been my friend. My entire book is set in the UK, and I live in the US. So
Wow.
Lots of
it
research.
takes a lot of research.
I tried that at one point. I tried to set a story in Ireland,
Mhm.
and it wound up sounding like an American was trying to write about Ireland. I mean,
That's me.
It's
That's me right now, actually.
I have a book that's set in Scotland, and I don't know how much similar it is to Canada, so I got to do a little bit more research on that. It might be similar enough that I dig myself into a hole on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
Well, I have to go back to work now. So you guys have fun and keep writing.
Thanks for
have fun
joining
at
us.
work.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
And then there were 5.
5's a nice number.
Yep.
Very good.
Not as lonely as 1, but it's still nice.
I was wondering there for a minute, like, if I can't figure out how to make this hangout work, I'm going to be on here by myself, just talking to myself.
Well, we do that most of the time anyways, right? Talk to
Yeah, I mean-
ourselves.
Yeah.
Both to a camera and not, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
plenty of practice.
Mhm.
I was talking to myself the other day when I was in the kitchen, and my boyfriend thought I was crazy. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just having a fake conversation. I'm just not going to say any more about this. Sounded crazier as I was
Yeah.
saying it, so I'm just going to stop myself.
I do that all the time. I have sides to myself, and then I realize what I'm doing. I'm like,
The writer side, and then the side that interrupts and says, nope, this is not how the average person acts. I need to stop now.
yeah, basically.
So just out of curiosity, any of you guys that are also college students like me, are you guys English majors or journalism majors?
I was an English major, so no, English graduate.
Still counts.
I graduated as a web developer from college actually a few years back. I've considered going back for an English degree of some sort, but at this point I don't know if it's really worth it. I rewrite a lot.
I'm not sure that there's anything you would specifically need an English degree for, if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say on the other side when you've never taken one, so it's kind of weird.
I would say the only thing you'd actually need an English major for is teaching, but if you don't want to
Yeah.
teach, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it seems like a lot of writing is learning as you go along, so I'm not too sure how a degree really plays into that.
Yeah. I mean,
And I guess
there
force
was
you to
an
write.
ask- I'm not an English major. I'm a psychology major. And
Actually, during most English classes, I mean, it's more about literary criticism. So
Yeah.
as far as creative writing, it's applicable, but not super
Yeah.
specific.
I guess if you're writing literary fiction, it probably plays in a little bit more than if you're writing creative fiction.
yeah. The same thing goes with poetry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I majored in creative writing for a year, and that's definitely the way to go if you can. And that's what you're interested in, is writing.
That would be fun. Well, should we do another sprint here in a bit?
Yeah.
Yep.
Another
I
10-minute
kind
one?
of just stared at the blank page for the first half of that last one. So maybe this will be better.
Well, here's hoping.
Type faster this time.
All right. Starting the timer.
Awesome.
Time's up.
Oh, did we lose another?
Oh, well, I guess that's a good word sprint when we don't notice we lose somebody.
Silently take off.
Slip out in the night. Okay, so how did everybody do?
Pretty good. I think I got another 200 words or so.
I did
No,
slightly
I got,
better
like-
this time.
Same.
Yeah, I got like 450 on that one.
Nice.
I did not.
I'm only going for 15,000, so I have surpassed my word goal for the day.
What did everyone make their goals this year?
Well, it's basically about 500 a day because I need to get in the swing of writing again because I'm terrible.
It's hard when you're in school.
I'm in school though. I don't know what the heck the problems are.
Nope.
Got a job though, so I'm just gonna blame that.
That's also a good excuse.
Sometimes you have to kind of build up your stamina. Like you do 500 a few days,
Yeah.
and then you're able to write 6, and then
Especially when you kind of fall out of that rhythm of doing it. You kind of got to get back in the hang of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think my goal for right now is about 400 because I am in school and I do work on weekends, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that makes it tough.
Yeah.
I put mine at 30,000 because tomorrow I switch over into a developer job, so I don't think I'll have a whole lot of time to write. But I guess we'll see. I'll adjust
Yeah.
it as I need.
I would have done more, but it fell right in line with revise and resub. So
Yeah,
I'm going to be doing competition things.
too much stuff at once sometimes.
I have a bad habit of just piling things on my plate. So I thought, hey, let's not do that this time.
Oh yeah, totally get that.
Yeah. I did that for November NaNoWriMo. I ended up having like 12 things going on at the same time. And it was my first time doing Nano. I was like, why did I do this? I don't know. Like I had like normal November stuff, then I had Nano, and then I started my YouTube channel. I was like, why am I doing all this at the same time?
I kind of got that feeling at the beginning of February when I started doing YouTube too. It's like, holy, I'm editing my manuscript from NaNoWriMo. Why am I doing YouTube and writing short fiction? What am I doing to myself?
YouTube takes so much time, but it's so much more fun than, I mean, putting it in other social media.
Exactly.
Oh,
I was surprised at how much time it actually took to start doing YouTube. For some reason, I was like, yeah, I'll just chop stuff together. It'll be easy. It'll take me like 5 minutes, whatever.
It took me a while to figure out jump cuts. I had the idea that I had to do it all in one take, and no.
Oh yeah, I tried to do that for my Patreon video, and that's like, no, this is not working. I'm way too nervous and stuttery for this. Ums and ahs and ums and some more ums.
Oh, hey, we have a question from one of our fallen comrades. Do you guys use outlines?
I do. I got a weird sort of outline template. That looks like this.
Ooh. Visuals.
So I got like, I don't know, it's got all sorts of stuff going on. Then I make sure I've got turning points and all the plot points that I might need.
I didn't used to.
That's awesome.
And I've been doing a little more pre-writing with each project. And this one, I've got it pretty much plotted out.
Yeah, I'm definitely a plotter.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that calls themselves a plantser. I don't know exactly if that's a good term at this point, because it seems like it's just a lazy plotter.
I think there's something to be said for letting the story go where it's going to go. Even if you have something plotted out and then you figure out it doesn't work, then you don't have to stick to it.
Yeah. Well, they kind of work off each other almost, sort of. The outline adapts as the manuscript adapts, and then the manuscripts kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the middle there. I lean more to planning, but when I go to outline, I either over outline or under outline, and I get myself stuck every time. So I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Don't ask me how to outline. I don't know.
Does anyone really know what they're doing, though?
Probably not.
We'd like to say that we do.
Everyone's just good at pretending like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we literally lie for a living, so. That's what we do.
Yep. Nope. That is pretty much a good summary.
I am curious, do you guys use like Pinterest boards? I've seen a lot of people making boards for their characters.
Kind of. I do and I don't. I do mostly for like hairstyles and dresses, because I don't like to put a whole lot of detail in my characters, because I just like people to... You guys, readers can figure it out for themselves. I don't want to tell you what celebrity I base this person off of.
Yeah. I used to do like a lot of the Pinterest board stuff, and then I used it way more to procrastinate, and I never got anything done. So I was like, forget that. I made little, like, photoshopped a little board together. I'm like, this is the summary of the character, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we have that, a photo that is what they look like, that I use for personal reference, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what I
procrastinate too much.
Yeah, that was the problem I was having with Pinterest too. It's just those sites are just such a time suck sometimes. It's like, oh man, I've been doing this for like 3 hours now. I should get back to writing.
Yeah, you get down this giant rabbit hole of like, okay, first it's gonna be 10 minutes, then 3 hours later.
Oh yeah. I think my biggest procrastination is going on Spotify and making individual playlists for my characters.
Yes.
I have intentionally avoided that because I know I would be on there for days.
Yeah.
That was a great idea. And I'm like, oh, that would be great because then I could write with music. But I don't write with music, so I don't know what the heck I was thinking.
I made this awesome playlist for all the other people who want to listen to it, but not me.
Yeah, basically.
Have you ever thought about doing that for your characters? Making a playlist for other people to listen to it while they read your book?
I've thought about it. My entire book revolves around music, so I have thought about doing that.
I know that that's something, I watch a lot of D&D live streams, and that's some stuff they do for their characters for Dungeons and Dragons sometimes. And it's like, oh, that's a neat idea. It'd be good for writing, probably.
Yeah.
Does everyone else listen to music while they write? I can't do it.
I have to.
I sometimes do it. It all kind of depends on my mood.
I can do it if it's instrumental or if it's lyrics in other languages. But if it's English lyrics, I start getting confused. I'll write the lyrics instead of what I'm working on.
When I use stuff with lyrics, it has to make sense to the scene I'm writing. Otherwise, I just find them too distracting. Otherwise, it's just soundtracks. It's just easier that way. Robin's saying that she also does the playlist thing, and it's definitely a time waster sometimes.
I mean, it's really enjoyable, but it really does just suck all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess anything that's not writing sucks a lot of time usually.
Well, yeah. I'd agree with that.
What else do you guys do when you get stuck and wind up wasting a ton of time?
I do a lot of research. It always starts off something small, like, oh, did they like seal letters with wax seals at that time? Let me look. And then I'm like researching clothing. I'm like, how did doesn't make sense.
I've done that. I've done that as well because I do have to use such an insane amount of research. Because I always have to see the distance between areas and the dialects and the slang and stuff. They'll be there for hours, and then I'm like, I don't think half of this is relevant, but now I know. And I'm always love learning and knowing stupid trivia stuff anyway. So it's just.
Yeah, for my current novel, I started out looking up the distance between Portland and Tacoma, then ended up looking how to name your own coffee shop for I don't know how I got there. I don't know.
Gotta love them.
I mean, that could be good for future reference.
Yeah.
You never know.
I did end up using it in my book, but yeah.
Well, it's not wasted then, at least. You can use it.
In the long run, no.
Yeah. I think another huge time waster I have is going on like name generators and just generating names continuously for no purpose whatsoever. You don't have that many characters and you're still generating names. Manuscript, you're like, no, I kind of like this other name better.
I have such a hard time coming up with names for manuscripts and stories. It's like, oh my god, this doesn't seem good enough. And I just stare at it for hours like, oh. That's another time suck for me.
I have a difficulty making my names because it is a contemporary. They're supposed to sound like real names, but then I go from having too basic to being way too made up sounding. Naming, and I was like, So then I'll go and change it. And I think I'm set with most of my main characters, so I don't think they're going to change anymore. I think they're good. But all them side characters are probably going to change at some point again.
I usually go with the name meanings. I'm pretty, I don't know, no one else is going to understand the meaning behind it, but it has something for me.
It's like that little tidbit for someone who does feel like going to Google Translate or something to find out what the actual meaning is. It's like, good job.
Oh, yeah.
You found that out.
I've done that. I've done that in a different book, not this one, but another one I had. It was religious fiction, and any good character or church character had a biblical name, and anyone that didn't have a biblical name, so it wasn't like a Hebrew name or something. And it was just an interesting little thing that I did. Took a lot of work though, because most names have some form of root in the church, so it's like obscure names.
Yeah, I've been going through that on my manuscript from November on Fallen Wings. It's got a lot of religious themes in it. It's like, oh, hold on. I got to find out what the root of this word is and make sure it actually has some weird connotation to it.
I really miss the Nickelodeon name finder. Did you guys use that? It was like Parents Connect or something, and it was amazing.
Never heard of that.
That sounds super
It's
familiar.
gone now.
Oh, that's too bad.
What?
I really miss that. It was bookmarked. Nickelodeon baby names.
Yeah, my main generator is I go to like baby name sites, and then I go to like fantasy name generator, which are different types of name generators. So like, locations and backstories and quests and a bunch of different types of stuff that you'll spend hours on there.
Yeah, behind the name is pretty good. That's what I've been using now.
Yeah, I don't mind them. Sometimes I've noticed when I've done further research that some of their name meanings are like the modern translation. It's like, oh, you gotta be careful on that site sometimes. Like the older you go, the more research you gotta do behind the actual name. It's like, oh, this actually isn't a Celtic origin. Oh, I gotta do more research on this.
Yeah. They have pretty good, I feel like it's either good information or good search function. So you have to kind of search on one website and then go find out the actual information about it later.
Yeah, they're a
That's
good kind of like
Yeah.
jumping off point.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a plan to get your word count in? Do you have like time set aside, or are you just kind of tossing it in wherever? Yeah.
As long as I have it by the end of when I go to sleep, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, same. Mine's gonna have to be
Yeah,
really
that's
split.
basically what I would do because. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm just 100 words here and there.
So we have a question from Brittany. Hey, I'm new to Nano and I'm trying really hard not to critique and just write, but then I get new ideas, which makes me want to go back and rewrite parts. Does that happen to you guys, and what do you do? Yes. I keep a note file in my phone, and then when I get shiny new idea syndrome, I just write it down, and if it seems like a good idea in hindsight, then I go back and touch on it.
Yeah, I try not to do any form of editing as I write. So
Yeah,
I'll
usually
do the same thing.
Usually not a good idea, or not the most conductive. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for.
It can stop your word count faster than anything.
And your self-confidence usually.
Yeah,
That's a really good way to be like, shoot yourself in the foot real quick.
Yeah.
60 seconds, I gotta go find my phone charger.
Your first draft is going to be shitty,
Yeah.
no matter what. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
I feel like a cyborg right now. I've got like a bazillion cords coming out of me. Okay. Should we do another word sprint here?
Sure.
Should we come up with a prompt this time, maybe?
Let's see.
I actually have to get going, so I will see you guys later.
All right. Good luck with Nano. And then there were 3. You got 5 watching still.
You brave souls.
Every word counts, and every piece of inspiration counts.
Mhm.
We'd be doing it anyways. At least we have company.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we doing a prompt?
We can do one.
I have a prompt jar I just remembered I have on my desk that
Oh.
I can pull something out of.
That would be
You wanna do
awesome.
that?
I just pull stuff out of my ass all the time. The jar sounds way better.
No, I had this and I like very rarely ever use it. Okay, this one sounds kind of like an interesting one. The prompt is finished this sentence. That's what happens when you follow your heart.
That's what happens when you follow your heart.
All right. Okay. And timer is started. I'll be right back. Time's up.
How did everybody do?
Looks like 300.
So how'd it go?
Yeah, probably around 175, 200-ish. About the same.
Awesome. I basically just went on a very short story rant that means nothing.
Sure, she'll come in when she's in a little bit more quieter space. So Robin's asking if we're all from a writing group. We're actually all from, I guess, the AuthorTube community would be the best way to put that.
Yeah.
So we all do
Yeah,
YouTube
pretty sure.
videos, and well, I'm sure we do videos elsewhere too, blog stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could have introduced ourselves at the beginning. That would have been good.
For anyone who's not or who wasn't here at the beginning and is just joining us, I am Trinda Adair, and I have a channel under my same name.
And I'm Victoria, and since this is my channel, it's probably a little odd if you're not aware of that, but just in case.
And I'm Jolene. I have a channel called Introverted Novelist. I've been just writing about writing and stuff.
And links to everybody's channels are in the description, so if you want to go subscribe to them, which obviously you should.
Obviously.
Obvious.
So question, what are your guys' main characters like if you're writing novels or whatever story you're writing?
Mine, her name is Lee. It's short for Imokali. She's half Cherokee and half Japanese, and she's been living alone in the Smoky Mountains for 20 years.
That sounds really cool. I like the name choice. It's interesting.
It means tumbling water, and I kind of wanted it to be a nod to Lee Smith, too. So.
I can see that. Yeah, that's awesome. I love stuff like that. Just little breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My main character is Isolde from the... I didn't have much room to play with her name. That's just her name. She is a doctor who works in Toronto, who is from Nova Scotia originally, who's moved around a little bit. So she's kind of cool. She saves people.
Because my book is in dual point of view, my two main characters are a couple. They are natively from Northern Ireland. The boyfriend became a celebrity, and so he's in a band, and the girlfriend from severe depression, and you just basically see that, you know, how his lifestyle and her life affect each other. Mainly the book is about mental health issues, but...
What point of view are you guys writing from?
I am writing from first point of view for this one, and occasionally third point of view for my narrative, can't I think of the word, narrative device at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mine is a first person present, which is actually unusual. I usually do past tense for everything. So, interesting to do.
Yeah, mine's third person past. If I try to write present, I always fall out of it. I think
Yeah.
it just feels unnatural.
Yeah, present I find, I don't do present very well. I do past tense all the time. I can't get my head wrapped around present tense. It just feels not well done when I do it.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't do it. I know my limitations.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it right now.
I try to do it for
Present
short
is
stories now.
because, yeah. Yeah, the only reason I'm doing present tense really is because the amount of emotions that need to go through there.
Mhm.
Being present tense, it's very hard.
Yeah. Don't doubt that for a second.
Present and first person go together pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that. I'm not too sure about third person present tense. Feels like that'd be weird. But
Yeah, it always feels awkward.
present tense for me is awkward to begin with, so it's just I can't even wrap my head around it. It's like, no, it'll just come out awkward.
Yeah. Mine's just always awkward because I'm always having to go back through sentencing it to make sure it's staying in the same tense. Because I'll slip back to past tense and be like, why? Don't do that.
Yeah, that's definitely something you kind of got to be on top of.
Yeah.
I'm actually breaking mine up into sections this time. So there's 3 sections and it's all third person, but the first section is from Lee's point of view. And then the second section is going to be from another character's point of view. And the third section is going to be omniscient. So we'll see how that works.
Sounds interesting.
It's, it's
I'm sure you can do it.
Motivation.
I believe in you. There's too many screens for me to look at.
Yeah. I feel like I just need a wall of monitors around me.
In my work, I'm used to having 2 screens at the same time, and I've got one small laptop screen, and I got my phone screen. It's like, oh man, too much juggling. So I noticed a few people talking about world building in the chat. Do you guys do a lot of world building when you do stuff? Do writing? I guess it depends on the project, but
I do a little, but since it's everything in the world, I can't do too much of that because they actually exist.
Mhm.
Building for certain buildings or and stuff when I'm like, I really don't want to base this on a real thing. And so the work comes into seamlessly putting it in somewhere. It's not obvious what's fiction and what's real.
My last project was set in North Carolina, but it was in a fictional town. So there was a little bit of world building involved with that, but most of the time mine's set in real life locations.
Cool. I have everything I write is in one big universe, and at some point the world ends. So I have my story Bible is like that big right now. So it is ongoing, so I don't lose anything.
Yeah, I've never done a project like that.
It's getting a little crazy. I keep binders for every single project, and it's like one day all these characters will get used in something else.
I feel like I have commitment issues. I can't even do a series. Like everything's standalone.
I started my revival series was meant to be a standalone. The prologue was just supposed to be the first and only short story in that series, and then people kept asking me for more, so I'm like, okay, now I gotta go back and make sure it all makes sense. Continuity.
Yeah, my thing is a very strong commitment. My entire series is a series of 2-book basically like part 1, part 2 type things. And by the time I calculated it, if I do write one and finish it and publish it in a year, which is really rushed, but if I do that, I'm doing it for the next 10 years.
10 years is a long time.
Yeah, so I have to, and that's why this book has not been done, because I know as soon as I get this one done, it's done, and I have so much events and stuff that I'm like, I don't want to forget this thing that's going to come back in like 5 books.
Write it down to begin with, because you will forget it, and then it will be in continuity error, because I've done that already.
Oh, yeah. I write everything down.
The character way down the line. It's like, ugh.
And I just have a commitment issue in keeping things the same. Like, I think I've changed the villain of this book. I changed it like 3 times in 2 weeks at one point. Come up with what I think I have everything solid now, so on that. But I keep changing major plot points, and I'm like, I can't finish a series or everything drastically all the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that a little bit with On Fallen Wings. It's like, oh man, once I actually have this set in stone, I can't change anything after this.
Yeah.
All or nothing at that point. Yeah, World Bibles are definitely, when you've got big series going on, it seems that from what I've read, it's good to have something ongoing as you do it, and then it's not as much work to go back and find all of the important parts that you kind of sprinkled through and then forgot that you sprinkled through and all that dialogue.
Oh yeah, I agree. I have like, and so I have a Scrivener document that is the first book, made a second Scrivener document that's just as a whole, and so I can actually document how my characters have changed through the series. You know, keeping track, making sure all their family stays the same and their backstory stays the same, and I don't change things. Yeah, because character developing is my strongest suit. I spend the most time doing. So I need to make sure that stays consistent.
That's part of why I have my Scrivener doc with all of my world building, and then I print it out so I have a hard copy because it's harder to change.
I do that before I start editing. I'll go back to all my pre-writing files in Scrivener and print them out so that I have them for reference spread in front of me as I'm going through with highlighters.
Yeah, it's much easier to have something physical.
It's very smart.
I really wish that I had a way to isolate all the characters' dialogue so I could go through and make sure the voice is consistent.
Yeah. I've thought that on a few occasions before. It's like, oh man, I'm going to change this way too much.
One day I'm going to figure out a good way to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I try to document some of that stuff, like what kind of stuff I want them to have in their development. Keeping it actually written consistent, that's a thing.
And when it's in context, you start feeling the scene. It's hard to keep it separate.
Yeah.
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 Someone asked how you organize the World Bible.
Honestly, I think one of the most...
Sorry, go on. There's latency. It's weird.
All I was saying was I think the most vocally diverse character I have, like, that has the most voice, is a secondary character, and all he does is talk in old memes, like super outdated stuff, and that's just kind of his thing, character. So all he does is like drop these jokes and stuff all the time, which gets really annoying because there's like scenes and he's there trying to lighten the mood, and they're like, do that.
Sounds like me. Out of date memes. Yeah, for those who are asking about the World Bible.
Like basically,
Go on, sorry. I've got like a 5 or 10 second
That's
delay
fine,
on you. For those of you who are asking about the World Bible and how it's organized, I organize mine with outlines for the different series that I'm doing, and then characters and settings as well. So then I've got all 3. And then whatever global like race stuff, I've got stuffed in there too. I'm sure other people do theirs differently, but I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. Whatever I find important gets stuffed in there.
yeah.
I think we're all just making this up as we go along. That seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, I'd say it definitely does help when you're doing supplemental releases or like I haven't read it yet, but George R.R. Martin's behind the scenes kind of world building book that he released recently. Then it's an easy release just to pack your world building into one book and just release it.
Chris is thinking ahead. He's ready for that
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling status.
Gotta aim high. You've got it, Chris. You can do it.
I think we all, in our heart of hearts, believe that we are going to someday reach that.
One day.
Yeah.
Just gotta have a little faith and hard work.
Just the right amount of delusional thinking goes a long way.
Well, at least writers have that to spare.
That is true. So how many nanos, either November nanos or Camp nanos, have you guys done?
Last November was my first nano. Well, no, it was my second nano, but it was the first one I won. And the first time I've ever tried to do a novel. So it's more my first one that I consider. And this is the first camp I've ever done. I'm a newbie.
On 1 November Nano, and I did both. So this is my camp.
I guess I did November Nano my junior year of high school. And then since then I've done like self-imposed nanos, I guess, with small groups, but I haven't done the official thing since then.
I've noticed a few people doing it. They kind of take on the write a novel in a month mentality all year round, and that's how they write their drafts. I've kind of been toying with the idea, but doing it in NaNoWriMo seems just as good.
That's how I've always done my drafts, just because of my schedule, because I was playing softball in college. So, I mean, I had summer.
Yeah.
And that was it. So this is the first one that I've kind of been like, yeah, I'm going to take my time and spread it out. Do 15,000 in a month instead of 50.
Yeah. Take it a little laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured I'd take this one a little easier too. I started with the idea of 50,000. I'm like, nah, it's camp. I'll relax. I don't need to do 50,000. That's crazy.
Gotta have time to lay by the pool and camp
Enjoy the nice weather.
bonfires.
Yeah. Oh yeah. James is mentioning an idea page for cool character names and stuff too. That is also a great thing to have in your World Bible. Just a list of ideas, like names you've come up with. I know someone mentioned it earlier, of just having names at the ready. Those are handy too for side characters and stuff. I love having stuff like that just at the ready to grab, like, and toss it in there. Throwaway names and stuff.
I have a tendency of just naming my minor characters like Bob or something generic, and then during editing I go through and change it.
Oh yeah, I'm the exact same way. It's like, no, I'm not putting any effort into you until later. I think On Fallen Wings has one, it's an anagram for NaNoWriMo, because I'm like, I don't want to spend any time on this. Here's your name.
Yeah. I tend to give my characters like weird supplement names that they just kind of have for a while. So I actually give them a better name.
Yeah, I've done that
Same,
with
like,
a few too.
4 names.
Mm-hmm.
At least you're consistent through the whole manuscript, and you can do a find all and just change them individually.
Yeah.
Like, this is my 4th Jane. At the end of the book, I'm going to put them all in a room and make them fight it out.
There can be only one.
I feel like you shouldn't get too attached to your minor characters, because half of them do not make it out alive.
Well, yeah. Or if you put too much attention into them, then they end up turning out to be like a major character. It's like, no, you're not here for any reason whatsoever. Calm down.
I did that. I started writing one, and I wound up absolutely despising the protagonist. He was just awful. But the little minor character, there wasn't going to be anything. I just fell in love with her, so she got her own story.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, my story is very weird that way, because since it is a bunch of little stories, no, they're full length, but they kind of go on different main characters. Almost all the minor characters end up getting a book later on, so I have to treat them all as if they're sort of main characters. I have to develop characters, which is very difficult, because it's trying to make sure that they're all balanced, so that when they eventually do get their own book, it's like, oh yeah, it's not like, oh, that character I totally forgot about. Except for I do have a character like that, but that's kind of the point. Supposed to be sort of forgotten about.
Yeah. I do that with a lot of my more minor major characters, I guess I call them more so. They get full character sheets and profiles, because one day they'll have a story of their own. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
Honestly, that makes the story feel so much more real when you do develop the minor characters, even if it doesn't all wind up on the page. Those little details, it comes through.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think about like real life too.
I agree.
People you meet are well-rounded, and you kind of get a little bit of their personality just off the weird fidgety things they do sometimes. It's like, it matters.
I agree.
Do you guys do a lot of character building? I know I've got, I think it's a 9-page character profile I generally fill out, give or take a few questions.
Yeah, mine's not that in-depth. I usually just kind of, I have a sheet, and again in Scrivener I have sort of templates for each character, but I pretty much just start brainstorming them and their life and everything, so it's just kind of a chunk of text.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I use my sheets for, is just questions to make me think a little bit about where this person came from.
Yeah. I spent a weird amount of time, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I spent like a really awkward amount of time making a character development sheet. Like, I have several different ones.
Nice.
Characters, and then I have one for minor characters, and then I have in-depth questionnaire type stuff. Because I'm so at it, because in my opinion, having more rounded characters is more important than having a story almost, because if your characters are hard to believe and nobody likes your characters, they won't read the book anyway. I spend a lot of time on that.
I always say that people or readers come for the story and stay for the characters.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. Because yeah, that's probably one of the first things. If a character acts out of place, it's like, no, I'm out. I remember that happened with me in Twilight. I'm like, Bella's going after Jacob. No, this is where I get off the boat. She's acting out of character. I can't do it.
Oh my goodness.
Character interviews
It's on the awkward side of the fence. Yeah. I'm always on the awkward side of the fence for love triangles. I'm always on the have the love triangle, and I'll always pick whichever one the author didn't choose. Oh, it's just always a thing.
Seeing Chris here is saying, the only non-negotiable rule I have is that I'm not allowed to change something in a profile to fit the story, because you can't always change someone IRL to fit your life. That is a good way to put that. I would say I probably try and do the same thing. If it's in the character's description or their personality, then I'm not going to fiddle with it to make the plot flow a little better. Fix my plot hole first.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what stage I'm at. If it's still early in the process and
you're still figuring out who that person is.
Yeah. If it's early enough, then I'll make changes, but
it's kind of, writing's a lot of playing it by ear, figuring out what works in that situation. I guess life is like that though, in general. Sure.
I don't worry about anything too much while I'm drafting anyway, because I know it's all going to get tossed out the window when it comes to editing.
Don't worry about your first draft too much. It's just a jumping off point. It's okay if it's garbage.
Yeah.
You can fix it later.
Uh-huh.
I know on Fallen Wings I've been going through, and I think I've rewritten 3 scenes now because they just did not work. There's a whole lot of the main character asking questions like, man, you are really like getting on my nerves, but this has got to change.
When they're getting on the author's nerves, it's time.
Yeah, you need a personality overhaul, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
You're better than me. I probably would just kicked him out of the story. Said, no, you're done.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that to my main character.
You've been demoted. I'm sorry.
I think Chris is saying something along those lines. I had to shelf a story because I accidentally kicked off my main character, leaving him in the room next to where a bomb went off. Yeah, that's not usually a good place to leave your main character.
Oh, God. True. It's like, oh, I forgot my keys. No, I've left my main character next to a bomb. Man.
No.
Well, I guess the main character's dead.
Oops.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah, oops. Well, should we try and do another word sprint here?
Sure.
Sure.
Should get another prompt going with your prompt jar.
All right.
Magical
Let's see if I can
prompt.
find.
Magical prompt.
I'm trying to find something that's generic enough that would be useful. I'm trying. I promise. Just a lot of like, if you have absolutely no idea what to write, here's some ideas of something to write about, but they're like very weird stuff.
A little disjointed. This sentence doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You have a whole novel
And
of
so it's
just
like, you know, next time you're doing X, think about this. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Write a story, or I guess segment, in which a letter is found behind a mirror. That sound like something we could work with?
yeah, let's do it.
All right.
And timer is on. Time's up.
Ooh. How did you guys do? I think I did.
That was my most productive, I think.
I think I got around 100 words that time.
Looks like 400. I broke 20,000 for
Six.
my total manuscript.
Nice. I gotta count my words later. Just reading through the chat here about a bomb on a space station.
Oh, lovely.
I like that. I think he's going to get demoted or replaced. That's life for you. Sorry, you've been demoted to save your life.
So here's a question. Do you guys do happy endings?
Define what a happy
Yes.
ending is.
Does the main character get what they want mostly and remain alive?
Sometimes they remain alive. They don't usually get what they want, though. I don't usually write happy endings. I like to make people suffer.
That's the fun part, right?
Well, it keeps me from acting on impulses in real life. No, most of my
man.
characters usually lose in a way that they win with their life. Take what you get. Be happy.
Oh man, all mine have happy endings. It just is trek to get there, but at the very end, everything works out. Sort of, mostly.
Sort of mostly. That sounds like a decent ending,
Most
though.
people survive. Everybody. It's very rare for my, characters to die because it is contemporary, so I can't just do battle sequences or anything. But for the most part, people survive. Everything's good.
I feel a bumper sticker coming on. I torture my characters so you can live.
Oh, I would put that on my bumper for sure. I torture you, but you make it out in the end, so you should be happy.
I've thought about what I would say to my characters if I were to talk to them, and it's basically like, I'm sorry, I promise it works out in the very end, but it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to my characters. I'd probably just have to run. They'd be coming after me with knives, guns.
Yeah. Threats. There'd be some threats, I'm sure, on my part.
Oh, definitely threats.
Chris sums it up pretty well. I do complete endings. That's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
Complete endings. I don't know if I would do complete, but rounded enough that someone's content.
That's always
Yeah,
the
I
most
don't-
important thing anyway.
I don't care for the endings that tie it all up with a bow. That just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I agree. Because life isn't really like that. You don't get everything you want at the end of the day most of the time. Unless you're really lucky. Things go your way.
Yeah, as long as it leaves you with kind of a satisfied feeling, like the journey went somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Catherine's saying satisfying. Satisfying is a good way to put that. Your ending should be satisfying to your reader, whether or not it's happy or
Yeah, I agree.
Well, guys, this has been wonderful. I think I'm going to have to call it.
3 o'clock, yeah. I think I'm going to have to
Yeah.
take off now, too. It's getting
I
about
agree.
that time. It was super fun, though.
Yeah.
I noticed a few people mentioning that we should do this again, and I completely agree.
Yeah,
We'll have to
definitely.
Yep.
talk about it. Feel free to shoot us some messages and stuff on social media. If you're doing sprints, then I think there's a hashtag word sprints or something.
Yeah.
Word something. But feel free to give me a shout. I'm always down for a word sprint. if
Same
I'm
here.
around. And I'm on paper, so it's not like I'm tied to a computer.
It's good one of us isn't.
Yeah.
I was considering when I was locked out of my house, it's like, do I start writing now? I mean, I'm sitting here. I could start writing.
I mean, it's April. It's fair game.
Yep. It's nice out.
Yeah.
Can't complain too much.
Okay, well, for anyone watching, keep an eye out. We'll definitely try and do this again.
And make sure to check out
Aw.
our YouTube channels. I know all three of us are posting videos and stuff, so you might find some stuff to help you get motivated and keep going through NaNoWriMo. So,
Yes.
and keep an eye out on Twitter. The Camp NaNoWriMo Twitter account is also putting out inspirational stuff too and word sprints. So there's always stuff going on.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'll
This has
talk to you
been
guys
great.
later.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.